Now comes the next theme, which are frequencies and electromagnetic radiation. A totally different kind of counter-survival frequencies are all these electromagnetic radiation. We have electromagnetic radiation naturally occurring, which we call geopathic radiation or geopathic zone. I made my own webinar the other day about it. Please check it out on my website and watch this show about geopathic zones, because geopathic zones are either there or they're not there. But if they're there, and that's most for us, they are there, you have to do something about them to nullify the effect of geopathic zones. I don't want to go there now, that's too much, but I have this show where I explain it exactly the way it is. So there are natural occurring electromagnetic radiation, which are geopathic zones, and there are man-made electromagnetic radiation, like cell phones, microwave ovens, Wi-Fi, GPS, electric cars, smart meters, transmission towers, all the above. And I did my own webinars and talk shows about it. You can watch them on my website. Many shows about electromagnetic radiation. Please check them out. The details there. Good. So these are the shows about electromagnetic radiation, which are available on the website. But all electromagnetic radiation is negative. All are negative and harm your body. So my challenge was then, of course, that was the beginning of my career with cell phones, starting with cell phones. How can I convert the danger of cell phones into a harmless cell phone, from counter-survival to pro-survival? Well, I did this simply by putting my cell phone product, which looks like this, into a cell phone, right? And I've done this many times, and some of you may have it, some of you may work with it. In nature, it looks like this. Okay, good. And all you do is you just stash it between your phone and your protective case. So I applied this, what I learned. I said, okay, I have to change counter-survival cell phones into pro-survival cell phones. I did that. To a certain extent in life, we can change it. And the BISA Institute in Austria has certified that I successfully did that, and all the qualifications and certifications and testings are on my website to be seen. Keep in mind, all cell phones towers harm your body. They're all counter-survival. There is no question. If you don't think so that's the case, you're missing a lot. Why is every third person in the moment dying of cancer? To my definition, reason number one, electromagnetic radiation. And then I went further ahead and applied it to your house, your apartment, your school, with different devices, which you again can see on my website. I don't want to go through all of them. I have done various shows where I showed those products. I just give you one page here where all these products are on my website to be seen. They're all changing counter-survival frequencies of electromagnetic radiation. Cars, electric cars, smart meters, phones, everything is changed into a pro-survival mode. And here you find the details. I don't want to bore you with this. You can look it up. It's just for you to understand the principle. The principle is, and this is my work which I came across and I worked with for the last 15 years, how can we change counter-survival frequencies into pro-survival frequencies? That's possible for many, many topics. Not for all, but for many. As concerns electromagnetic radiation, I've succeeded in doing this. And there may be some other companies as well out there. Not too many, but there are. All right, that was a topic of frequencies and electromagnetic radiation. So we come to the next topic, which is frequencies and water. Frequencies and water. Water is such an enormous important topic, and as some of you may know, I have done a show on water which I highly encourage you to watch on my website under webinars. So I realized years ago that the water we are drinking is very poor, very bad, and counter survival. So what did I do? Well, simply I decided to change that. With my technology, I was able to do that. And I show you here 2-3 examples in the practical world how you can do this. I have here my grandson Jaden, one of my 2 grandsons, and just keep in mind Jaden is only 12 years old, and I'm a small guy, but he's a giant. So Jaden and his brother Elijah are working with me at times, and they're learning everything I can teach them. And here we did an experiment how I can change bad water into good water. So we're going to test with Jaden first whether he's testable. Give me your arm. Say yes.
Yes.
And are you strong or weak?
Strong.
Okay. Say no.
No. Weak.
Okay, good. So he's testable. And we check now the water quality, which I brought here from the city water, and we see how he reacts on this. If he's strong, the water is a good quality. If he becomes weak, the water is a bad quality. Match my pressure. Okay, good.
Weak.
Weak. So the water is bad. Was no surprise, it's the city water. Like in most other places in the world, it's always the same. So I'll take my W100 and just hold it to the container of that paper bag here for a second. And now we test him again. Match my pressure. A bit more. Okay, good.
Strong.
Strong. Okay, good. So I changed the quality of the water in a split second. The water is good now. Okay, so this was a practical example. With the right technology, you can change counter-survival water into pro-survival water. Looking back, I can say that's very easy. Well, it wasn't easy, but now it seems to be easy. It's easy. It goes fast, no big thinking about it. Now, the next example about water. Water carries information and stores information and transmits information. And the target is to get from the water has bad information stored in the water. And the next target is to get the bad information out of the water. Now let's see what we can do with the water according to Dr. Masaru Emoto. I take this piece of paper here and I hold it onto the water and we'll try test him again. Match my pressure.
Weak.
The water which was just a second ago good, by adding that paper, the water becomes bad. And this is according to Masaru Emoto, who I studied, and I talked to it about some other time. But now this shows you how water can take information and pass information. So the water became back by just putting the paper to the water.
Oh.
And the water cannot read, right? Water cannot read. And
It
water
cannot read.
No, it cannot read upside down, right? Okay, can you speak out loud what's on the paper?
Devil.
Devil, okay. Just the word devil brought the water down and spoiled the water. Okay, so the water is bad. Now we'll take another piece of paper and we hold it to the water and we see whether it changes the water. Match my pressure.
Strong.
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 Yes. Huh.
What did it say?
What do you...
Norbert.
All right, so I changed the quality of the water again from bad to good. So the water is good. So we change the information in the water. And I do this methodically with my products, that I change the information in water. I take the bad information out and leave the good information in. And then we have a last demo about the water and dehydration. Now, if you're dehydrated, and I'll tell you, most of the people I test are dehydrated. I'd say 95% of all people I test out there in the field are dehydrated. They think I drank a lot of water, I'm hydrated. No. The point is, as I explained in my water show, you have to drink quality water to be hydrated. Now, if you're dehydrated, you could assume you drink half a gallon water, or let's say 12, 16 ounces to be hydrated again. Now I show you that I can hydrate a body with my technology with only 1 drop. Now let's see whether he is dehydrated or not, okay? There's a dehydration point. There are several dehydration ways to test a person. We test the one that I usually do. You're strong. Now we check whether you are dehydrated. If you become weak, you are dehydrated. If you're strong, you're hydrated, okay?
Dehydrated.
Dehydrated, yes, exactly.
My lips are dry.
So he's dehydrated. Now, normally people would say, oh, I have to drink now half a gallon of water, a liter, 2 liters to be hydrated again. Now I show you what we can do. If you put your finger, dip your finger in the water, and then take that bit of water and put it on your lips. All right, that's all we do. That's all we do. Now we test again. Now, if you're strong, then you're what?
Hydrated.
And if you're weak?
You're dehydrated.
Okay, good. So let's check.
Hydrated.
Yes. So, which means with 1 drop of water, I hydrated him. Okay? And I explain you then how that happens and what I do and why this works, right? But just a quick test, okay? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. So these were 3 examples how to change the frequencies of water to be pro-survival. And all what I do is I use my water units, this, for example, for the whole house unit. And for the next 10 years, all the water in your house is quality water. It's as simply as it can possibly get, right? Good. So it's an example to change from counter-survival to pro-survival. And that's all you have to do. Of course, this has been scientifically tested. You can see this all on my website. I don't want to bore you with this. Here's 2, 3 final images here. According to the Matsumoto technology, my water product, the W300, was tested. That's what it looks like. And it was tested with the Matsumoto technology. They froze the water. On the left side, you see what we could call the worst water you can drink. It is reverse osmosis water. The water structure is totally spoiled. It's dead. There's nothing in it. And after the water ran through my product or past my products on the water pipe, you see on the right side this wonderful hexagonal structure which reflects the original pristine water like we used to have it on our planet. We used to have this quality water, but for the last 200 years, no more. So I can rehabilitate that water structure. Again, example from counter-survival to pro-survival. That's the message. And here a last water image. Matsumoto made a test with cell phones and with microwave oven. You see on the left side 2 photos. The right one of the left side is water with cell phone usage, and on the left side you see the water before the cell phone was used. Before and after cell phone usage. The cell phone has destroyed the water. On the right side you see the same thing, healthy water before, and once using the microwave oven, the water is destroyed. So in this case, the technology of a cell phone, electromagnetic radiation, turns pro-survival products into counter-survival products. The exact other way around, we don't want it. But this is very typical in our society. This is very often the case. So if you want to know more about water, there's my show All About Water Part 1 and 2 on my website, which I explain everything you should know about water. And if you listen to that, you may know more than 99% of all doctors in the world what water truly is and what they should know. Okay, good. Then we come to the next part of our program, and that is frequencies and sound. Frequencies and sound. A lot of people do not perhaps know that frequencies and sound are strongly related to each other. There was this famous German guy, of course German again, who else, who else does these things than the Germans? Ernst Florenz Friedrich Chladni. He was a German physicist and a musician. Among his most important works, for which he sometimes is known as the father of acoustics, included research into vibrating plates and the calculation of the speed of sound for different gases. So that was his work, where he was known for. Many people talk about Chladni plates, but they don't know that was a gentleman, even a German gentleman. And here I have an example. Chladni took a plate, and on this metal plate he spread sand or salt, and at his time he rubbed the plate with a bow from a violin. Now we are more fancy. This plate is connected to a electronic unit which creates sounds, waves, different tunings you can select from. And see what happens if you run the sound to this plate, what happens to those particles of salt and sand. It creates unbelievable, artistic, geometric, beautiful creations. And these creations are created by sound frequencies. Very impressive, right? Well, I bought for my boys one of those guys for Christmas. So we have something interesting to do on Christmas. That was the Chladni sound plate. And frequencies, however, can also be changed by water, right? Let's see how that works. Okay, these were very low frequencies, but nevertheless, the sound changed the water structure, which is very cool. I think it's very, very cool. Right, this was about sound and frequency. Now we're coming to the next topic, which is frequencies and light. Frequencies and light. The sunlight is not a single color, but a spectrum of colors that constantly changes over the course of a day. The light in the morning is apparently pretty white, pretty red. At midday, it becomes white bluish, and evening becomes red again. And the human body needs this full spectrum of light. The full spectrum, not only one frequency. Here's another presentation of the spectrum of light. And the problem starts in our society nowadays as the computers we use, the screens, emit a very bluish light. And when we use this in the afternoon, evening, it gives the body the wrong information. It's midday. It's midday. You shouldn't be sleepy. You should be awake. Everything is cool. But you're just before going to bed and you're still on the computer. So your body gets the wrong information. We have something which is called circadian rhythm. And the circadian rhythm tells us when we should go to bed, when we should go up, and what happens, what time during the day. We unfortunately changed this world from day and night separation, as we nowadays night always we made to turn it into a day. With all the lights, artificial lights we have, electronics, working up late, being up late, going to the movies, watching TV. It's not a normal circadian rhythm anymore, which people long-term suffer because it's not very healthy. So light and frequencies are strongly connected. Then there is this next paragraph, which is frequencies and medicine. Frequencies and medicine. Yes, there is my philosophy, which I would like to share with you about this. The future in health and healing are not white coats and pills, but the future is frequency medicine. If we understand medicine, if we understand frequency, we combine the two and we get the right results, as you will see in a few minutes in a demonstration here. Now, when we talk about frequencies and medicine, we must mention Mr. Röntgen. Mr. Röntgen, most to the Americans unknown, was the inventor of X-ray. He invented the X-ray November 8, 1895, when he shot an X-ray, the first one, of the hand of his wife. Interesting enough, it took 6 years. 6 years before they honored him with the Nobel Prize. Of course, everyone thought that he is crazy, right? Sure. If you do something which never been done before and there's no comparison, people get lost and they think you're crazy. This is the hand of his wife with their marriage ring on the hand. He did that. Now, the X-rays, as we know from experiences talking about it, that the X-rays are very, very dangerous. They're absolutely dangerous to the human body. This is why they put you in those lead fortresses around you, which are supposed to stop the X-rays and not harm the body. And I don't deny that X-rays in many cases may save a life and do things which otherwise you cannot accomplish. Here we have a conflict of interest. For your information, to get an idea about X-rays, they run in the range of 1 trillion hertz. That's a 1 with 18 zeros. 1 trillion hertz. In comparison again, the Schumann frequency on this planet is 7.8 hertz. 7.8. Make it easy, say 10. 1 0. Here we have a 1 with 18 zeros. That is a volume, an intensity level the human body cannot digest. Interesting enough, interesting in a certain way, this gentleman, Mr. Röntgen, he died at a very relatively young age of somewhere in the 30s or beginning of 40s of colon cancer. Is that a coincidence that he died of colon cancer? I don't know. I don't think so. Well, whatever. Speculation, we don't know. But it's remarkable, isn't it? At a time where people just don't die of cancer at this time period. And there's another frequency people talk about, which is called 528. 528 hertz is a frequency that lately people talk about it pretty much. Now, this is a frequency that is said to have calming and healing effects, right down to the DNA, regeneration and profound mental, emotional, and physical improvements. Of course, the frequency 528 is used in music therapy, no question. There are clear connections between the already discussed Schumann frequency of 7.8, the frequency of the brain of 7.8, and the 528 frequency. Now, this is a pro-survival frequency. There's no question. I personally have a problem when I listen to this frequency for an extended amount of time. It just gets to my nerves. But that's me. Doesn't mean anything. But if it's packaged in music, that's something completely different. My problem is that people market products and protocols related to 528 left and right. For me, that's a bit deceptive. And here's why. 528 is touted as a healing frequency, as a frequency to be able to sleep better, etc., etc., etc. I would like to express my deep reservation about this. If you live our normal life we live nowadays, our lifestyle, which to many, my definition, many people, it's a poor lifestyle. People drink bad water, which most people drink. They're hammered with electromagnetic radiation, which damage your body 24 hours a day, which is the case for everyone. They have a questionable diet, which is the case of many of us, etc., etc., etc. And then this 520 frequency is supposed to be the sacred means to compensate all the above listed screw-ups in your life? Sorry. That goes much against my holistic way of thinking. Perhaps if you drink truly healthy water, you have a full protection against negative frequencies of electromagnetic radiation, eat truly healthy food, etc. But then, only then, the 528 hertz frequency would have a better chance of doing what people claim. 528 deserves perhaps a separate show on this subject, but I wanted to mention it here fundamentally. And of course, it fits perfectly today's topics of frequencies. Here I have an interesting link for people who want to read more about the 528 frequency, which I found to be very, very interesting. If you go on my website, oh no, that's not my website, somebody else's website. If you go on that website, you'll find a nice article which I encourage you to read to go deeper into this 528 frequency. All right, good. For the past 25 years, I have a deep friendship with Bobby and Carrie Bro, who live here in Florida. The two have developed a technology by developing a collapsible mobile treatment table based on using sound waves to support their patients in their self-healing. Here is an image how the sound table looks like when it's open from the bottom part. Everything you need is built in. Cables, speakers, amplifiers, mixing boards, everything is missing in. And the cable to run into your laptop. Of course, you hear these sound waves, but the body absorbs them as well by lying on the table. You can also play the whole thing through the headphones. Here is the table in a mounted position. And this is Bobby standing there. This table comes complete with a laptop and software, which offers various languages. The software is in English, German, Spanish, Italian, French, whatever have you. So it's very international. This software covers more than, hold the horses, it covers more than 2,500 symptoms of illness. 2,500 symptoms of illness, all listed. Among others, from heartburn to high blood pressure, anxiety, diabetes, insomnia, immune enhancement, antiparasite, bone generation, whatever, just a few, 2,500. So what you do is you have the table, you lay on the table, you select on the computer the frequency, the illness you want to treat, and it offers you the frequency. And then you activate this frequency and you play it. Depending on the symptoms of the illness, there may be several frequencies that should or could be used for this problem, which you can play together at the same time. The diversity of applications and variations is crazy. It's enormous. I mean, it's vast. I've never seen anything personally in my life of that extent. Now, the bros have, of course, a praxis in Clearwater, not Clearwater, Florida, north of Clearwater, an hour north in Hernando Beach, where people come to see them and become their patients and get treatments. Now, we wanted to run a test. And I know the bros have been working on this table for many, many years. Over the years, when I visited them, I saw different steps and different setups, but now I think it's perfected. My daughter Bella was happy to be the guinea pig. I asked her whether she would come and the bros would run a test with her. And what it was, she volunteered, and the bros checked on her various issues. And from these various issues, I picked one where Bella explains that she has menstrual problems since she was 13. And here is how it goes.
So I have really bad menstrual cramps. I've been having it since the age of 13, so the beginning of when I had my period. And it's always been very painful.
Okay. And are you mensing now?
Yes,
Do you have the pain now?
I have a lot of pain right now.
Okay. So what we're going to do is just have you fold your arm strong. And then I'm going to have you lie your hand over your uterus and fold strong. There's definitely an issue there. So what I'm going to do is put a frequency for menstrual disturbances and keep it for 10 minutes. Here we go. Touch again. Make sure this is the right frequency. Hold strong. Feel strong. And body indicates for that. So we'll let this go for another 10 minutes and we'll retest. All right, we've gone 10 minutes and we're going to retest. So touch the uterus. Hold strong. Push over your head. And she's very strong. So how do you feel? Do you feel different?
I definitely feel a lot less pain. It's not so much pressure down there, not so heavy like before.
Good. Good.
Well, I found this major interesting. I hope you do. This table, which they have in their praxis, people can of course buy it. and use it in their own praxis, or if you have 3-4 people at home, it may be worth it over time to have every person treated in your own house 2 times a day, 1 time a day, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it takes. So this is the bros and their table. And here is their name and their contact and their website. Feel free to contact them. And depending on where you live, you may want to make an appointment and meet with them. All right? So the last demo of today is frequencies and telepathy. I engaged my 2 grandsons. They're my favorite co-stars in this program. I just love them to death. And I do a demonstration with them. To do the demonstration, I must say that this is a very personal demonstration, and I'm not sure whether people can duplicate it or agree with it or have their own experience or doubt it. That's all fine with me. To do this demonstration, I use my light called 1-3. I use my light 1-3, which is again tested by the Visa Institute in Austria. The test certificates are on my website. And this test, I want to show that telepathy is possible, that I can transfer my energy I receive from the light through telepathy to one of my grandsons. And let me just show you how it works. Okay, for this test we're going to do, we took off the shoes, because in the shoes are the sole inlays which make you stronger, so we don't want them. And we're going to take off our protective products we're all wearing, that nothing is on our bodies for this test. Okay, let's pick it up. Now for this pre-test, they're going to test each other how strong or how weak they are before we start the procedure. This is not kinesiology. Years ago, I named it the strength test. Okay, do the test. Do it again. When he did the test, we got to make sure the feet are completely together. That's a weak position. Nobody would fight in this position because you don't have stability. And he showed that he has no stability and that he tips over. Everyone does that. That's normal, that's physics. It's not possible any other way. I'm going to take the light and hold it on to Elijah. And Jaden will test him to see whether this light makes him stronger. Okay? Strong. It is normal with this light. I can increase the energy in food, in water, in human bodies, in animals, in plants. It doesn't matter. That's what the technology does. Okay. In the next test, I hold the light on myself and I have Elijah look into my eyes, and we see whether I can transfer the energy from my eyes, through his body. That's a special form of telepathy. Look into my eyes. Strong. Now comes the final big test, what this is all about, telepathy. I will hold the light on myself, but I will not look at Elijah. I will look in a different direction. I cannot see what they're doing. I'll look into a different direction, and I connect through the world of frequency in quantum physics I will connect with Elijah. If that works, then the test will be strong. Let's see what happens. And you tell me, we do a pre-test, weak, we do the final test, strong. You tell me, because I cannot see what's going on, okay? Do the pre-test and tell me the result.
Weak.
Okay, good. Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm transferring it now to Elijah, the frequencies of energy I'm receiving from the light, and I want you now to test him again.
Strong.
Strong.
No question,
Of course.
no doubt.
No doubt.
Okay. I think that proves the point. I trust it proves the point. Thank you very much for helping.
You're welcome.
All right. I hope it was interesting, surprising for you. We're coming to the end of our today's webinars. I hope my ideas, my concept of the pro-survival and counter-survival frequencies, I could get them closer to you. You may even agree with my concept. Just look at all the situations in your life, at projects, at people, at problems. And just look at it with the idea, is that what I'm seeing here, what's happening here, is that person, is a pro-survival or counter-survival? And that's all you have to understand and act accordingly. If it's pro-survival, make it bigger, make it more, make it stronger, support it. If it's counter-survival, well, you try to change it into pro-survival, or if it's not possible, you're gonna disconnect. This is the solution. If you still continue to surround yourself with counter-survival frequencies and you consume them, then you should never complain about later consequences. Whenever you are with counter-survival frequencies in a relation, they will affect you, they take you down. They take every group down, they take every marriage down, they take every product down, they take health down. And I keep hearing these phrases, I lived so healthy, and now why does this get me of all people? Yes, no coincidence. Health is no coincidence. Neither is illness. You think you could follow me? Really? I was only able to scratch the surface of frequencies. I wanted to give you many different areas of life where you see how frequencies apply in the practical world. And let me repeat my basic statement. The future of our planet and all living things depends directly on if we understand frequencies and if we can master them. The survival of this planet will not happen without understanding that certain vaccinations, certain electromagnetic fields, certain quality of water and food is counter-survival. We cannot blow plastic in the water, in the air, in the food. Life has to come from life, not from plastic. We have to know what we're going to do. And if we don't respect that, we will go further down. At the moment, every third person dies of cancer. It's going to be soon every second person. That's not a threat. That's most likely just simply what it is. I want to give a big thank you to my customers, to you out there who support my findings and my research and my development of products when they buy products from me. And my friends, thank you very much. And my not so good friends, thank you very much, because I learned from you. A next big thank you are all to my colleagues. From all of them, I keep learning so much. We were like a team, like the bees on a beehive together. It's just beautiful what we do. And I couldn't do it without them. I learn every day from my colleagues. They teach me. And I'm only here nowadays because I met 40 years ago Dr. Otto Meyer-Schwabedis in Germany. Without him, I think I would have never been going down that road. It's a story on its own one day when we have plenty of time. I want to thank Royal Raymond Rife, who was the main first person who developed the idea, the concept, and discovered frequencies related to illness. Without him, I wouldn't be here today, what I'm doing. Of course, Nikola Tesla. You cannot be in this world working on these themes without Nikola Tesla as a reference and learning from him, as much of his knowledge survived in spite of the suppression. And of course, Mr. Max Planck, the founder, creator, the think tank behind quantum physics. And Mr. Burkhard Heim, who even in Germany is hardly known. One of the most impressive people in this world. And lots of my technology is based on his findings, which I explain on my website. And last but not least, the work of Masura Moto, which I thought along when I worked on my water products. All right, my friends. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to the next webinar. You'll find all my webinar infos on my website, the ones which are coming up, and the past webinars are all on my website under Webinars Archive. Please feel free to contact me, send me emails, send me flowers, send me chocolate. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.